From one government in trouble to another. This one is in Pakistan. Shehbaz Sharif took charge as Prime Minister in the month of March, but his government already looks shaky. He faces two major problems. One is the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, or as Pakistan calls it, credit card. The second is his coalition partner, the PPP, or the Pakistan People's Party. Apparently, the alliance is divided. Let's look at the IMF first. They're asking Pakistan's government to raise income tax, not for millionaires, not for the super rich, but for the middle class. Suppose your income is 100,000 Pakistani rupees per month, 1 lakh Pakistani rupees a month, which is around $350 US, then your current tax rate is 2.5%. But the IMF wants Pakistan to raise it. To how much? 7.5%. Again, suppose you earn 133,000 Pakistani rupees, which is $470 US, then your current tax rate is 12.5%. But the IMF says increase it to 20%. And that's not even the worst proposal. The IMF also wants a tax on agriculture and health. How much? A standard 18%. Now, this is very significant. Agriculture makes up 24% of Pakistan's GDP. It also employs 68% of the country's population. So, agriculture is not just a sector, it's a lifeline for Pakistan's people and economy. But the International Monetary Fund says slap more taxes on it. The idea here is quite simple. Higher tax equals more revenue for the government. More revenue equals more fiscal stability. But guess who will suffer? Pakistan's middle and lower class. They are already burdened by 15% inflation. Now their government wants them to pay more taxes. How will they do it? Experts say they simply cannot. Only a 30% rise in income will make this tax viable. So can the government reject the IMF? Well, that's a big risk. Pakistan is asking for another bailout from the International Monetary Fund. It's worth between $6 and $8 billion. If Pakistan needs that loan, they must do what the IMF tells them to do. If not, no bailout. Talk about a tough spot for Shehbaz Sharif. If he can't get a bailout, his economy will suffer. If he raises taxes, he could face rebellion. Sharif is already an unpopular prime minister. The last thing he needs is public protests. Which brings us to his second challenge. Trouble from allies. The PPP has dropped many hints. One leader says Sharif could dissolve the parliament. That too within 3 months. Another leader is complaining about the budget. He says the PPP is not being consulted. What does all of this suggest? That the Pakistan People's Party is keeping its options open. After the elections, they offered support to the Sharifs, but they did not join the cabinet. Later reports hinted at a U-turn. Bilawal Bhutto was apparently keen on becoming foreign minister again, but nothing came of it. So the PPP strategy is quite clear. Keep a distance from the Sharifs. Make sure his bitter pills do not affect the PPP's popularity. The question is, will any of this work? We may find out on the 12th of June. That's when Pakistan will present its budget. Experts are hoping for a balance between bitter pills and welfare. It should answer many of the important questions. Like, will the IMF agree to another bailout? Will public anger pour onto the streets of Pakistan? And will investors put their faith in Pakistan again? We should have an answer later this week.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.